Hey cartoon watchers of the internet, I'm Channel Hopper, and like many fans who watch My Hero Academia, I can't help but ship the students of Class 1A with each other. Some seem more obvious than others as far as how compatible they are. However, I will be focusing on one pair at a time and will get to the others in later videos. So the first duo to tackle will be the Tokoyami and Tsuyu ship. Now, a few questions we need to ask when examining these two is why this pair, what can it add to their character and the story, and how well does it hold up to even be possible in the show based on their personality and any similarities. So let's find out whether or not this ship will sink or float. To start off, many fans ship these two characters due to them being the only students in the class with animal-themed quirks, such as Tsuyu has the posture and ability of a frog, and Tokoyami has an avian-style appearance as well as a bird-shaped quirk called Dark Shadow. Now, this isn't enough ground to ship these two based on animal aesthetics alone, but it does give a unique approach to their possible relationship in the sense that opposites attract. And this claim wouldn't be too far of a stretch since Tsuyu's best friend from middle school is Hoboku Mongoose, whose most prominent feature is her reptilian appearance from the neck up, similar to Tokoyami with his bird features. As Midoriya pointed out in the Training of the Dead OVA, this sort of friendship shouldn't happen in nature, but in My Hero Academia, these students could be the best of friends and even teammates. I'm pretty sure Tsuyu and Tokoyami aren't that picky about appearances, so I'd say this can work in their favor. Another reason to ship these two would be their unique personalities, such as Tsuyu has a laid-back and straightforward approach when it comes to socializing, and she's very supportive of her classmates. She can normally get along with anyone and isn't afraid to speak her mind when talking about others. Fumikage Tokoyami has a more reserved and loner character, which can work against him when it comes to making an effort towards being more outspoken. Though one thing they do have in common is that they both find Izuku Midoriya's habit of overanalyzing everything annoying and aren't afraid to let him know that, while others just seem to go along with it. There's an interesting dynamic between these two as one is outspoken and the other's soft-spoken. Also, I find Fumikage's quirk Dark Shadow being linked towards his emotions can be the driving force for him to be more forthright with others, as we see his quirk likes to brag about his strength and is fond of being in the figurative spotlight. I bet he'll make a great wingman if those two ever date. But does that mean Tsuyu would also be dating Dark Shadow? Can you date a quirk? Can a sentient quirk be considered a citizen? I have so many questions about this. But moving on. So just like Tsuyu, Tokoyami is very cooperative when put in a team setting. Both are level-headed fighters and are good at supporting others as shown by their teamwork and communication skills, allowing them to make rational decisions in their battle against ectoplasm and during their assigned position in the cavalry battle. Most of the shipping comes from the final exam arc where the students must work together towards defeating a common enemy. How this works in their favor is that they both cooperate as teammates, and Tsuyu already considers Tokoyami and Dark Shadow strong enough to be considered heroes, which can be a base for them to go off of and hang out together, as well as supporting each other's weaknesses in terms of combat and in social environments. We later see in the manga that Tokoyami is willing to play the guitar and Asui is comfortable dancing on stage with the others during the cultural festival in front of a big crowd. So both are willing to step outside their comfort zone, which makes hanging out with each other seem all that easier if given the opportunity. Both characters care greatly about the well-being of their friends, with Tsuyu trying to protect them from making a mistake or Tokoyami saving them from himself whenever his quirk goes out of control. Personally, all this can be a great supporting ground for them to eventually interact with one another on a more personal level if they find more in common with each other, such as hobby or preferences. While these events can work in their favor, a few things fans have pointed out that can work against this pairing is Tsuyu's busy schedule with taking care of her siblings and both Asui and Tokoyami's hero work studies. Tsuyu also seems to be paired up with Ochaka more times than Tokoyami, which is also more apparent in the manga as Ochaka and Tsuyu are interning with pro hero Ryuku thanks to the help of Big 3 member Nejiri Hato. And this leads into another issue I have, which is that Tsuyu fits more into the supporting role and Tokoyami is designated as a B-class character, which means we might never see these two outside of a group setting, and the story could be more inclined towards giving them a background appearances or off-screen accomplishments. Now, one last thing I want to mention that can work in the ship's favor is their compatibility and blood types. Now, this may seem out of the ordinary, but this has been a common practice in Japanese culture when talking about friendships or relationships, often called the Japanese blood type personality theory, though it kind of varies from person to person, similar to a horoscope, so we can take this with a grain of salt, but I'm curious as to see how this plays out with these two. So let's start off with Tokoyami, who, according to the wiki page, has a blood type of AB, which some traits associated with this particular type are as followed. They're calm and rational individuals who are intelligent, adaptable, but also critical and aloof. Their personality is a rather complicated one, and they like their privacy. They have a strong sense of morality and love the pursuit of knowledge. Out of every other blood type out there, they're most compatible with individuals of blood type B, such as Tsuyu. They can easily connect with someone of blood type B, as individuals like Asui are friendly and optimistic. They're pragmatic and also adaptive, but tend to go their own way. They often do what they want without considering other people's feelings, though in Tsuyu's case, she tends to say things on her mind even if it hurts someone else, but she is quick to apologize if she believes she's overstepped her boundaries. Now, I don't know about you guys, but this does seem to fit both characters to some extent, but remember this is just a theory, so feel free to share your opinions on this. Now, what exactly can this ship add to both characters, and how can it fit into the story of My Hero Academia? Well, to me, Tsuyu can help Tokoyami be more social without beating around the bush. Both can learn from each other on how to overcome their weaknesses and can open a path for them to try new things. As for how it can fit into the show, let's turn to some of the lessons it focuses on and how these two can reinforce them. The series mentions that being a hero is achieved through humility, hard work, and confidence in one's own ability and how they use said ability to help others. Tokoyami is a very humble individual, but this can be a double-edged sword in his case when thrown into a corner as he begins to doubt both the strength of himself and his quirk when put up against a powerful enemy such as Bakugo or Ectoplasm. This is also the case when he loses control of Dark Shadow as his emotions begin to cloud his judgment. All Might even encourages him to train more as he'll soon come across even stronger foes and can't rely on his quirk alone. What Tokoyami should be focusing on is being more confident and less pessimistic towards his abilities, and who better to help him than a partner like Tsuyu. Her approach to heroism seems to be structured on the idea of support as she stays level-headed and optimistic, which keeps her team focused throughout a battle. She puts the needs of others in front of her own but tends to lose focus when things don't go as planned. Asui is the best person in my opinion to aid Tokoyami in his time of despair and reassure him that he's stronger than he gives himself credit for. He can't help others unless he helps himself first. Both characters represent heroism in body and mind, but together they can symbolize the hero's spirit as well. So overall, I believe this ship ranks a 3.5 out of 5, which I would classify in the category of highly possible. With that said, the only thing I believe is truly getting in the way of this ship from happening is opportunity. Everything is set up to where it can happen in the show and work in their favor, but only if the story takes the initiative to make it a reality. It can fit into the world of My Hero Academia based on the lessons the show is gearing towards. The idea of overcoming adversity and striving to become the best to your abilities is not only something pros and aspiring heroes can do, but friends as well. So let me know about your thoughts on this pairing in the comments below. Do you think it can or can't happen in the show? Also list some of your characters or ships you'd like me to talk about later in the comments. As of now, I'm your cartoon/anime and animation fanatic Channel Hopper, and the next review is just a click away.